Oh, and real quick before we start the show, I would like to take a second and let it be known that Check Me Out is here to show love for up-and-coming artists, indie artists, and labels. DJs, producers, engineers, managers, promoters, even venue owners. All because this ties into the music industry, as well as the streaming companies that we have as of now. Check Me Out is also a show to give information to the artists as well as help make connections if needed and possible. In a nutshell, we need each other to help this thing we call the music industry to keep going. But most importantly, we need the fans. So if you are any one of those people that I mentioned, please feel free to reach out for an interview or possibly to connect with anyone you see on the show. And if you have a business and a commercial to promote that business and you would like to promote on our show, feel free to reach out and we can talk about the particulars. And the way you can reach out, email us at checkmeoutmusic@gmail.com. That's all one word, checkmeoutmusic@gmail.com. Peace.
What's happening? It's Real Live, and this is Check Me Out.
Yeah, this is your boy Ski 3, and I'm on Check Me Out.
Check me out.
Yo. This is the portal. Check me out. Check me out.
Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out.
All right, what's good, everybody? This your boy JTL. I got my boy Batman the DJ here. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all?
This is another episode. Check Me Out. So before we get started, make sure you go ahead, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you're new to the show. All right. So today on the show, we got attorney Shannon Ligon coming through to show some love, give us an interview, talk about the business side, you know what I'm saying, as far as being an entertainment lawyer, you know what I mean, what you need to know, you know what I'm saying, how you can reach out to her, you know what I'm saying, and just dropping a little bit of gems of what she went through and getting to where she's at, especially as a young sister. You know she had to work hard, so you got to give that respect. And also, you know, we got two classic albums that dropped on this day. We're going to be talking about GHETTO and the Bulldogs. We're going to be talking about Hard to Earn from them boys GANGSTARR. You know what I'm saying? Another classic album that we bringing to y'all, man. Y'all can't sleep. And then also, we're going to be giving a check rating to the boy Lil Baby. Let y'all know what we thought about that project, My Turn. All right? So make sure y'all go ahead, get your drinks, get your vice, whatever it is. We ain't judging. You already know how I say all the time. And just go ahead, sit back, peep the greatness. All right? So let's get started. In 2015, Lil Wayne decided to not only take on Cash Money in diss tracks, but also in court. The rapper known as Lil Tunchi made it known that he was upset with co-label owner of Cash Money and artist Baby, who was putting off the release of Carter 5 for his own personal project for Rich Gang, which featured Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan. Instead of dropping the Carter 5, Birdman made public claims that Universal Music Group felt that the album was not ready for release and needed more work. Lil Wayne decided to take action by filing a lawsuit to not only get the release of the album to take place, but also the release of his Young Money label imprint, but as well the release of his artists Nicki Minaj and Drake. And also in the lawsuit, Lil Wayne alleged that he was owed tens of millions of dollars for his advancement of the Carter 5 and for his completed obligations for all of his Young Money album releases. And finally, after a 3-4 year legal battle, Lil Wayne was finally awarded a settlement. He now solely owns Young Money, which is now distributed strictly by Universal and not Cash Money. He also retains both Nicki and Drake, and was rewarded tens of millions of dollars he was owed. So I'm sure Lil Wayne was glad that he had Ron Sweeney and Howard King as his attorneys in this battle and war of ownership. And that's the importance of a lawyer, just in case you guys didn't know. All right, y'all. So for you up and coming artists, man, I did that, you know what I mean, that narration for y'all, that quick segment part, because it's important that you guys have a lawyer. And as you see, Lil Wayne, even though he was with Cash Money for all those years since he was like 8-9 years old, the unfortunate thing, I ain't gonna diss nobody, but you know what I'm saying, when real money comes into play, some people, business or friends or whatever, it can mess up things, you know what I'm saying? So you do need to make sure you got a lawyer. And as I stated, that's why we have, Shannon Ligon on here so she can just, kind of talk about the business and stuff. She's somebody you free to reach out to if you need consultation. Of course, now be serious, only serious inquiries. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever she says is, in order to go forth and do that, respect that. You know what I mean? Don't just hit people up and waste their time. Just saying. But you saw that what he went through with not getting millions of dollars, and unfortunately, we hearing about AB, not doing everybody correctly and all these things. We ain't gonna diss nobody. We just gonna kick the facts here. We just gonna kick the facts. So Batman, how you feel about Wayne feeling like he had to take him to court versus them being able to hash it out, especially since they got such a close knit relationship, like father like son and stuff. Like how do you feel about that situation and in general? Artists even nowadays still like not listening. Like, yo, be serious. This your business. When you go in there to sign a record contract, don't think that just because they have a bottle of champagne there and they taking you out to eat that they your friends now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about that for as artists not taking it serious, like getting you a lawyer, a good manager? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it it kind of hurt. I mean, it really does hurt my heart because a lot of people don't know. Like, um, I know this isn't on music, but it still applies. Like with the situation with Dave Chappelle and the Chappelle Show, and he put out his special Unforgiven. It was like 18 minutes, and he broke down everything that you know happened. And then he came out with another one. It was like 10 minutes long, called Redemption Song. Explaining that he finally got all the rights and stuff to his show back. You know, and he had to fight for that. Now the thing is, with him, he said, and he went in there with a lawyer. You know, um, but you got to make sure you have the right one. You know what I'm saying? And usually the right ones come from recommendations. Her, she isn't, you know, she's somebody that I heard of word of mouth. I heard of her through you. You probably heard of her through somebody else. As my mother say, those are the good lawyers. The ones that's always just like, call me now, we'll get you a big settlement. If somebody hits you, call us right now. Them the ones, them the ones you gotta watch out for. But as far as getting your business down, like a lot of people just like case in point, and I got to thinking about this. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I'd have been so excited to get offered a record deal. That's like, boom, I bet. When can I record? You know what I'm saying? And that's the majority of everybody else is so excited to finally touch their dream. You know what I'm saying? And they're not looking at the other part of it. You know what I'm saying? And that it's really, if you just find yourself to yourself, that'll cut out everything.
But I gotta say this though. Like I think, well, you just said one part of it, just being happy to get on. But I think also it's like maybe we got to do more better and trying to reach out to the younger, up and coming artists. Like, all right, if you look at Megan Thee Stallion, her situation from what they said was presented, from her mouth to Carl Crawford, her CEO over the label, and then to the documents they put out there what the situation was. She had allegedly it's a 60-40 split, right? So 40% at the time when she was signed, and she didn't put out anything at this time yet. She just not putting out an album at the end of last year, I think, or middle or something like that. And I think she on the second project. So 40% starting out is actually pretty good when you haven't put out an album yet. Now, especially if you have a 360 deal, right? But if your label is doing all the work and your manager is doing all the work, Just like, I had Alex Harris on here, and that's what he was saying. If the label's doing everything, you know what I'm saying? That's how it can work. But I think the problem is a lot of people just want to be famous. You get what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm so glad we're talking more business because a lot instead of just want to be famous, you don't want to come back like Taylor Swift and Megan Thee Stallion had to do and be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I think it's issue. You know what I mean? I think that's a
yeah,
big issue. So
yeah,
I think that you guys, you trying to do your thing, man. My boy Batman, I'm gonna put it on him. He got a project he working on, so I'm gonna put that pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? Like Big Gates, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put that pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? He gotta hurry up and finish his project. Hurry up and finish your project. I'm gonna put that pressure on you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So all right, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and get into our next segment of the show. So y'all go ahead, make sure y'all stay right there, don't go nowhere. All right, we're gonna be right back. On February 28th, 2020, Lil Baby released My Turn, which was well received. One of the bigger singles on the album was The Bigger Picture, which spoke on racial tensions in this country that boiled over after George Floyd's death. May he rest in peace. And showing Lil Baby's consciousness to his people's struggle in the U.S. The album would go on to be certified 3 times platinum in February of 2021 and received 2 Grammy nominations. The album has some of the best beats and vibes you can get from a young up-and-coming artist that's able to touch many different levels of vibes. Lil Baby is able to keep in mind his true friends and family as he rises to the top and vows to not forget them and where he came from. He also speaks on being responsible and taking care of his son as a good brother and a young father. As an album for enjoyment and being thoughtful, plus talking what's going on as far as the street level, I give this album a solid 3 checks. Definitely worth checking out. All right, so we back, y'all. So okay, Lil Baby, second album. I don't know if you got a chance to really check it out, but it's called My Turn. You know what I mean? And listening to the album, you know what I'm saying, got dope beats on it. You know what I'm saying? Of course he got the turn up. Of course he got the message for the street cats and stuff like that. But he also makes mention, of course, you know what I'm saying, talking about giving back to his people. You know what I'm saying, being there for his son. And I like the fact, the brother's been doing some charitable good things. Like, he gave to George Floyd's daughter. Like, I think he helped throw a birthday party for her. And then he also like put some money aside for, her college tuition and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
the young brother, he's doing some good things, man. So like what's your opinion on his music? You know what I'm saying? Like what do you think for his music is concerned first?
I mean, his music is like for this generation
Hmm.
is good for this generation. He's got the hype turn up music. Then he's also got some stuff that you sit back and you know make you think. Um, but all in all, I do as one of the new people, I do like him. Um, when he first came out, of course, I was like, I didn't know until I peeked in a little bit. But once I did, yeah, yeah, I see why. He's got a name for himself, him and Lil Baby. You know,
You mean
um,
Dub?
huh?
You
You
mean
said
Dub
what?
Baby? You mean
Lil
Dub
Baby.
Baby?
Yeah, that's what I mixed them two up. But yeah, look, yeah, yeah, Lil Baby. He do come with some good lyrics. Um, he has it sound like once he gets fully into his groove of his artistry, then you're gonna see a lot of dope music.
Mm,
It's just like any other artist. Once they find their sound, you go back and listen to Common Sense on his very first album, Can I Borrow a Dollar? And we ain't even got to listen to Common's last album. We listened to Beat, and
mm,
you can hear the difference. Like it's like night and day. It's like his first album was good, but compared to B, it sounded like nursery rhyme. So that's what I
mm,
mean by little baby. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he get into his groove, just like when Pac came out with Tupacalypse, it didn't sound like Me Against the World.
Mm,
But it was still good.
hmm.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, you know, when he first came on the scene, like he been doing this thing for I want to say at least the last around maybe 3 years now. You know what I mean? He's been doing this thing. Um, Y'all excuse me. I don't. They send out these alerts even though I got my thing on. They send out alerts and stuff like that. But yeah, so but yeah, he's been doing this thing, you know what I'm saying, killing it on the charts, you know what I'm saying. I respect how he, you know what I mean, he doing his thing, you know what I'm saying. So definitely shout out to Lil Baby, you know, when you go ahead and keep growing as an artist, keep doing your thing. We able to respect, you know what I'm saying. Like my partner just said, it might be, you know, more for the newer generation now, but we still can see that, you know what I'm saying, you got some kind of talent and skill. So shout
Yeah,
out to that, you know what I mean. So
yeah.
the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about. Well, I'm gonna do the intro first, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. And I know this gonna be right up your alley. Both albums that dropped on this day. The first one is gonna be GHETTO and the Bulldogs, "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto."
I've been playing that. I've been playing that. I promise you, I've been playing that album.
Calm down, calm down. It ain't time
Okay,
yet.
okay,
Calm down. And the
okay.
second one is gonna be "Hard to Earn" by GANGSTARR. So those are the two albums that we're gonna do that dropped on this day. So we'll be right back. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Let's get into it. Released on March 8th, 1994, "Hard to Earn." GANGSTARR's fourth album is one of hip hop's most classic albums of all time, featuring one of the most memorable beats on a song to ever be heard, "Mass Appeal." Guru, rest in peace, was the MC from Boston who gained respect in hip hop worldwide, and DJ Premier, one of the dopest producers in the game, period, had made the game take notice by this time, and there's no way you could say it wasn't well earned. Although years later they would end up breaking up as a group and Guru would pass away from health complications, they still will always be remembered as pioneers. "Hard to Earn" by GANGSTARR on this day. "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto," released on March 5th, 1991 by GHETTO and the Bulldogs. Not the most known MC, but still one of the dopest. "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto" had the quotes that stuck around for years to come, with singles like "Bugaboo," which would later be a title single for Destiny's Child, "I Gots to Have It," and "Be a Father to Your Child," a song that lets young brothers know to be responsible when you bring a life into this world. The album was produced by Teddy Ted, Special K, and Joe Mansfield. Even though GHETTO and the Bulldogs didn't become one of the top selling artists of all time, this album, "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto," will still remain a classic. Oh yeah, and he's from Boston, just like Guru. Rest in peace. Chill. All right, so we back. So now I'm gonna let my boy go ahead. I know he definitely, cause you the one that talk more about GHETTO than I did. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember, you know what I'm saying. What's the one song? "I Got to Have It." I remember that. I remember and "Be a Father to Your Son." You know what I'm saying? Like yo, you know what I'm saying? Classic joint. So you go ahead, man. You dig in because I know you was more of a fan of GHETTO than I was. So give your perspective on this. You know what I'm saying? "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto."
Well, "Life of a Kid in the Ghetto." First of all, this group they're out of Boston. A lot of people didn't know that.
Out of the
Um,
bean.
huh?
Out
They're
of the
out.
bean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're out of Boston. When they came out, I was in junior high. You know what I'm saying? And the first song that came out was "I Got to Have It." You know, and the way it was done, it was like right up that alley for that time. But then you got "Be a Father to Your Child," and I literally played this song. I literally played the song yesterday. It stays in my rotation. It's one of the songs I do literally stay in my rotation. You know,
Hmm.
because I think about that because that's my worst fear is being a bad father. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? That's one. That's yeah. That's I mean, I'm just keeping it funky. You know, uh, um, but aside from that, they had other joints on there. Uh, um, there's a song on there called "I'm Different." They
Mm.
used Big Daddy Kane sample, and I think what it was that because it was so the way the samples were, and you hear how one sample going to another and the beat change, it sounded like really like some basement shit.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They made that at the house. Like how me and you done made songs before.
Yeah.
But it made it to the album. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? You go like listen to he's like, oh, this is like you could tell this is some early work type. But it worked. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that he got the recognition as he should because, and here's the reason why. You listen to his style and listen to around the time when that came out, you had Pete Rock and CL Smooth out at that same time too. And Pete Rock, CL Smooth was tough. They had The Creator.
Mm.
They Reminisce Over You. The first two albums was tough, especially the second one with the Reminisce Over You. And people were kind of confusing. Like I was literally playing that song. Literally, I played that song yesterday, and somebody said, "Is that Pete Rock and CL Smooth?" I said, "No, that's LG and the Bulldog."
Yeah, but don't forget the network that they had around them hurt too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not hurt, but because, people like, what I'm saying, when they put out the Troy song, remember Troy got arrested, so was part of Heavy D and the Boys.
Yeah,
So they had a big network around them, and I think that's probably like at that time in hip hop, you already know you need a network. Like you had Native Tongues, like that was like another Juice Crew pretty much, you know what I mean? So I think that's
it's
another thing that they
power
probably
actually. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They
So
had
I
more of
think
an impact than Juice Crew.
yeah, but it still was a classic joint. You can kind of say underground if you want to, even though they were signed, but you probably can say underground if you want to, you know what I mean? Because you know
Yeah,
how it is, like if it don't sell a bunch of records, then we'll be like underground, even though they could be on a major label and you know what I'm saying? They might be on an imprint that's on a major label, and you already know how they go. They're not gonna pay you that much attention, especially not in this days because this was, you know what I'm saying, early '90s. Then you had Snoop and Dre out, you know what I'm saying? Then you got like certain people that was selling records at that time. That was coming off NWA. Then you got the Chronic and stuff like that around that time. You know what I'm saying? So labels started going more to the gangster rap, quote unquote gangster rap. You know what I mean? So that kind of messed with it. But now let's move on over to Hard to Earn, that GANGSTARR. You know what I'm saying? That especially with that mass appeal.
listen,
God, I still
Master P.
go back and bump
It's like
just
I've
that
been
song.
hearing it. You said what?
I said I still just go back and bump that song if nothing else.
Yeah, it's like that song has been popping up a lot in my playlist. If I
Mm,
cut on YouTube, it'll come on. I cut on XM Satellite, it'll come on. Like it's literally mass appeal, and it's like mass appeal,
mm,
come on, man. Like, listen, I'm telling you like this: if you're a DJ and you've never air scratched like these rock and roll artists be air doing the guitars, there's something wrong with you, man.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, like my homeboy DJ D Rock, he's a little older than me. Y'all gonna end up meeting him because he will be on the show soon. But I had my boombox at one event a couple of years ago, and I was playing Beat Street, and the beginning of Beat Street before Melly Mel rap is scratching. So we loading the equipment in there. I look over D Rock just you know what I'm saying? So the scratches on there, the way Premier puts the beats together, like Premier and Guru was like yin and yang.
Mm,
It was like the perfect mesh. It was like Fife rhyming after Q-Tip. It was like, you know, it was just like E40 and be legit, the way they meshed together. You know what I'm saying? You got, I'm sorry, Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff together. Will
mm,
Smith by himself, he alright. He alright. I mean, I ain't gonna take nothing away from the brother. He good, you know what I'm saying? But DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
mm.
Come on, man.
And I mean, you got to respect this brother, like, another brother from Boston. Rest in peace to Guru. You know what I'm saying? Another brother from Boston. came and really definitely got his respect, you know what I'm saying? And you had to love the way Premier, like you said, with the beats, one of the best when it comes to scratching. You know what I'm saying? That's why Premier still does his thing. Like I'm still seeing stuff online where like he's still just like people just paying him to scratch on their records. Like
Yeah.
he ain't even producing for everybody like that. I'm seeing videos with him just scratching on Ludacris records, scratching on DJ Khaled records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Scratching on Jay-Z records still to this day. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't
Yeah.
deny it, man. That's one of them classic albums. And for all of y'all out there, you know what I'm saying? Me and my partner, we hip hop heads. So we know about this stuff already. So if you don't know nothing about GANGSTARR, you sleep, man, go check it out, man. You get to learn where a lot of this stuff came from. That's why we doing the albums on this day, so y'all can go ahead, look back and see what you missed out. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way we tell people around our age, like, yo, don't sleep on a new artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Lil Baby. I like Rowdy Rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mess with a few of the young artists. So I'm gonna do that for y'all. Y'all do this for us. Go
Yeah.
back and listen to some of these joints that we telling y'all about that came out back in the day. Please do that for your boys. All right?
Yeah.
That's all we asking. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like we tell you all the time, pay attention to these black entrepreneurs that's doing their thing. You know what I'm saying, man? It's important we support black. And I don't mean, I'm not saying it because it sounds good. This ain't a bar from a song. Let's actually do that. Check out our people, support them. Even if you just go to their Facebook, their YouTube page, Instagram, or whatever, just show them some love and just tell them, man, keep doing your thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be back, man. Stay tuned. What's good, everybody? It's your boy JTL, Opposite from the Norm. And real quick, I just want to let y'all know about Opposite from the Norm apparel t-shirts. Brought to you by GFAM G-Wear. You like our show and our content? Then go to gfament.com and click on G-Store, and there you can purchase an Opposite from the Norm t-shirt. Also, you can check out other great tees that represent true kings and true queens as well. Shirts that motivate and make you feel great. Once again, that's gfament.com and click on the G-Store link to get your apparel tees. Now back to the show. Chill.
Here at Above Average Towing, we are here to service your towing needs. We do jumpstart, towing, tire change, gas delivery, and lockouts. We have certified technicians, we are licensed and insured, and we give you an accurate arrival time as we care about you and want to get you off the road safely. Affordable prices and great customer service. Serving Pinellas County and surrounding areas. Contact us at 727-288-3556.
Putting in work all the time. Whoa, well, hello there. Good to see y'all again. Guess what? I'm Jay Yoko, and we bringing it back right here to GHETTO. Artist Development 102 is definitely on the way. Tickets will be on Eventbrite, and this is something that you do not going to miss. So for my folks who weren't at 101, don't be that fool and not be at 102. I got my attorney coming through, Shannon Ligon, to drop some jewels when it comes to the law side. I'm bringing you the jewels on how to get the bag, how to market your music, how to promote your music, and build that super fan base. So make sure you're right here in the building. GHETTO, Artist Development 102. Tickets on Eventbrite. I want to see you here.
Baby girl, God got a plan and a purpose for you. The power of forgive me. The power of faith move mountains.
When's Daddy coming home? He coming home. Just eat your food.
How you supposed to tell me what the headphones on?
I can hear you. What's up?
Okay, Trey, I need you to watch the baby while I'm at work. Can you do that?
What about the daycare we're paying for?
I pay for the daycare. You put in $20. That's not paying for daycare. Here, point blank, I can't keep doing this by myself. This is your son also.
Yeah.
Once again, you're walking out.
I'm coming back. I'll be back. years old, killed by the police, man. Sick of this shit. I need to talk to you about something. So what you know about the taxi cab dope gang?
The what?
Follow me. Straight out the bottle, straight out the bar, straight out the bottle, straight out the bar, straight out the bottle, straight out the bar, straight out the bottle, straight out the bar. Follow me.
These police officers don't never think about pulling over taxi cabs, bro. It's the driver, 2 passengers, and 100 pounds of dope.
If you root for quad, if you root for you, man. Business as usual.
We pull up, we dead and you going ain't shit about that revenue. If I'm caught, I'm going federal. Mine on riches. Always choose money over bitches. Told my nigga in the pen, keep his head up. When I look inside his eyes, I don't see nothing. That's a gone soul. He said first day he gon' replace his with Joe's.
I'm a big dog, no little. Serving that dog food, no kibbles. She gon' eat the drug just like Skittles. I'm the man, not the man in the middle. I ain't trippin', long as my real ones got my bike though. I ain't trippin', long as I keep me some racks, ho.
Home, young blood. Home. You might well get used to it.
That's right. What brought you in here, bro?
This ain't home. This ain't home, bro.
It's your home now, bro.
Home is where the heart at, bro.
Exactly.
Home is where my kids at. Home is where my girl at, bro.
You might well get used to it, bro. Everything you just named, we got the same thing outside these walls, bro. We got the same thing, but you got a release date though, right?
11 years?
But you got a release date.
In 11 years?
Bro, we got partners in here, when they look at their paperwork, it's all zeros.
My bad about earlier, big dog. Bro, I gotta get used to this, man.
Sound like you ready to have that conversation, bro.
I guess so.
I don't know your story, but what you in for, man?
Man, I'm in here because I trusted the people. Because I trusted my brother. I trusted my friends, and he told on me, bro. I'm talking about told on me.
Man, it sounds like me the first day I was in here, bro. You might as well get over that. Using everybody else as an excuse for why you in here ain't gonna help you survive in here. That's bullshit, man. Even though it might be true, because I ain't gonna sit here and tell you what you're feeling is wrong. I'm gonna just tell you need to use that feeling to express it in a different way. Change the narrative. Control your path. Because you ain't here for a while. So it's either gonna be a good road or a hard road.
Hey, bro, what you reading, man? What it is?
Oh yeah, oh boy, this shit, man.
Well, from a lot of shit dangerous. Everybody wanna be famous. Till they hit from every different angle. Paparazzi people explaining. Well, from a lot of shit dangerous. Everybody wanna be famous. Till they hit from every different angle. Paparazzi people explaining. Yeah. Look, you gotta be where I be to see what I see. It made a G out of me. Everyday feelings on E, but my name holding weight in these streets, baby. I'm on TV. Free living got me silent, so I'm too hard. I be swimming to the money like a pool shark. And I can sell water to fish, get them hooked hard. Cause where I'm from, you only hood or your book small. You could be sick of being down till you come up. Channel the pain and get you reaching for the stars. Daddy walk, that's how we gon' handle it, mama. Reshuffle the deck and hope we deal some better cards.
All right, everybody. This is the time y'all been waiting for. You know what I mean? This is the interview you guys need to definitely pay attention to. And as I said, she got her info out, so you guys can go ahead and reach out to her. So without further ado, entertainment lawyer and attorney, Shannon Ligon. All right. What's good, everyone? This is your boy JTL, and this is another episode of Check Me Out. And today, I got a special guest, somebody that if you're an up-and-coming artist, starting label, you're going to really need this person or these people in this profession when you get started. It's very important. So today we got my special guest, Shannon Ligon. That's right?
Yes, you got it.
All right. And Shannon is an entertainment attorney, among other things. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I appreciate you giving me the time so we can go ahead and do this interview. I feel that when I reached out to you, I talked to Rail first because he's an artist as well, and you come from the same place we did. You're a Royal Theater alumni as well. You know what I mean? So I was glad when I thought about it. I was like, hold on, Shannon does this. She's in the entertainment field. This would be the perfect person to talk to. So I want to go ahead and start with your background, your upbringing a little bit, what I'm saying, where you came from. I know where you came from, but I'm gonna have you tell the people where you came from and what prompted you to get into being an entertainment attorney.
All right. Well, thank you again for having me. I think it's an important time, especially for creatives, that they get the right information because we're in a season, where creating is so important, but intellectual property is getting used so much. So a little bit about my background. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, born and raised. I graduated from Lakewood High School, and that was then I really first had my inkling like I wanted to do music. I have always been a writer. I was, grew up writing poems, even to the point I was selling my poems, which later turned into raps when I was in high school. And I'll never forget sitting in psychology class, and I was like, man, I want to be like Jay-Z and own and run a record label at the age of 17. So I've always been a creative and have been passionate about music, but how I got in this space being an entertainment lawyer just kind of happened to me following my purpose and my plan, because you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be the first female rapper, like signed to Jay-Z, and, just me being passionate about music and a nerd, I started studying the music business. And two, because I say I'm a writer before I was saying I was a female rapper, but maybe I was ahead of my time because now they're all the rave now. But just me being passionate about music, that led me into a career in radio, where I actually started in radio in college, but I feel like entertainment and sports, there's so much crossover. So one of my first internships before I worked for Clear Channel, which is one of the biggest companies in the world, I interned for a sports agent, and part of the deal was, my homeboy Marquise Fitzgerald from St. Pete, that was on the Miami Hurricanes championship team. Part of the deal with my aunt, who's an attorney, was for him to sign with the sports agent, you had to give my niece a paid internship for the summer. So I really feel like that experience is kind of what, because I was an ex-athlete too, it showed me about entertainment, because one of the first things I had to do for all these, what I say, no-name athletes, that internship, was get them like branding deals, car deals, cell phone deals. So it wasn't like, I'm getting Brett Favre a car. It's the offensive lineman for the Bears. Nobody knows, but it taught me about the resilience you kind of need in this industry, and just how to get comfortable asking. And then, you get so many no's, you get closer to your yes. So that experience, his agent was a lawyer, and that kind of just showed me like the business world and the art of doing deals, and also just like the shady side of entertainment and sports. Like, people think the criminal world is so corrupt. Like, the average drug dealer makes six figures, 100 grand. The average athlete makes 750,000 plus $1 million. Like, what industries do we think are more corrupt, sports or entertainment? There's more money to be made. So I saw a lot of the good side about business, and I saw a lot of the bad side about it. So a lot of my internships kind of got me to this experience. And I have one of these things, like, if you're not working in the industry, you should be interning. And if you're not interning, you should be working. So I did a lot of various things. I used to throw parties, be a club promoter. I did sports marketing in college. But I really feel like once I got to college and I worked for Clear Channel Radio, I was their promotions assistant. So anytime there was a live remote or clubs, like, I was the one like hauling all the equipment out, setting up the remotes, and it really showed me the power and influence of radio. But really, that next summer I got to study abroad in Spain, and driving down the streets or in Europe, I saw Clear Channel on the park benches, on the billboards, and it really showed me like, this is a conglomerate. Clear Channel in Florida was a radio station, but really their platform was media and advertising. And just that worldly experience just showed me how big music and entertainment and just media is. And I basically went to college, came home to St. Pete, and there was a billionaire by the name of Bill Edwards that worked at Big 3 Records, and my mom told me like, oh, there's this billionaire, he has a record label, but you'll never get a job there. However that came about, someone said like I could never get in, so I walked myself up there, talked myself into an internship, and what in hindsight, I was brokering deals because I was in his studio, managing and getting people in there, bringing Lil Wayne and Juvenile from one of my boys, Big Bo. Like, he was doing all these 50 Cent and G Unit parties back in high school. So we were literally, like, I was literally taking the people he's bringing in shows and bringing them to book, in this state of the art studio that they couldn't even get access to, but I had access to. So I was literally brokering whatever Mr. Edwards was charging. I would knock it up $20-$30 an hour because one, you couldn't get in, but two, they were using me as their gopher, so like when I had to go get the guards, the drinks, clean up, the stories from the club after the girls. So it really just taught me, like, there's so many different avenues. I learned about managing a studio, running a record label, running publishing. And it really just came to the point, my mom was like, when are you getting a real job? And I was like, I'm doing what I love, and it just turned into one of those things. Like, if I don't know, I applied to law school and the rest was history, but I essentially do the same things. Like, I was a nerd then, reading and writing contracts, doing their publishing. Like, I got him to give $1 million endowment to the Boys and Girls Club, and that's how we built the studio at the Royal Theater, and we turned that into a program. And now the Boys and Girls Club even take that concept, and they have one here in Orlando. So I got exposed to so much because those internships really became my playground. Like, I was making mistakes or figuring stuff out for this guy who had, we had the publishing catalog from Disney. We were working on Beatles stuff, and he had all this outstanding money, and I was figuring it out. So I learned a lot interning, and making mistakes or just figuring it out. But I was really a nerd of music, intellectual property, contracts, and that's why being a lawyer was kind of like an easy transition. It just legitimized the stuff I was already doing. So I went from kind of wanting to own and run a record label, and he offered me a job to be his in-house legal officer, and I said, if I do that, I'm your employee one, but then that record label essentially became my only client. So I said, no, give me an office here, and I'm gonna start my law firm and I'll have an office here. So I had an office in Orlando, and then my office in St. Pete was in his record label. So it gave me the ability to represent numerous artists and record labels and not just be stuck working in-house for that record label. So that's kind of how I got here. I went to law school. The day after I passed the bar, my classmate sent me my first client, which was a recording artist from Miami, and 13 years later, the rest is history. So, I always say, like, the art of the hustle, being in the right place at the right time, and being a good person and being passionate about what it is you want to do. So many doors have been open for me.
That's great. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You just said 13 years. I think the most important thing is a lot of people want to be successful overnight. They want to be superstars overnight. Mm-hmm. And you just gave a great amount of information on all the things that you had to do and still being passionate at the same time. So a question I want to ask you, because me personally, growing up, I was always a huge fan of Tupac. Mm-hmm. And the thing I loved about Tupac was he was able to be masculine and show love to sisters at the same time. Right. So my thing is, I always wanted to shed light on the sisters that are doing, tremendous things like you're doing. So I'm pretty sure it's certain obstacles you had to overcome, not just being a woman, but also being a woman of color, a Black woman. Right. So real quick, I want you to, kind of give me the spiel on what it was like going through all those things and, dealing with corporate America, and still trying to make your dreams come true at the same time.
Right. So that was kind of the thing, like, how the hell do I run or own a record label as a little Black girl from St. Pete? Because when I got to researching not only who owned record labels, but even basketball teams, they were white Jewish men that looked nothing like me, that were lawyers, like Clive Davis, all of these guys, they were lawyers. I experienced that as a lawyer going to court. I'm often the only female, and oftentimes the only Black person, and really the only, Black female. So a lot of these things just naturally happen because of the industries of music being male dominated, sports being male dominated, law being male dominated. But I took it on to say I navigated this space because the average rapper, athlete, they look to me like I'm their sister, and it became a trust factor. And that space, like, one song I actually placed the beat for was a Kanye West song. It's called Everything I'm Not Made Me Everything I Am. So everything I'm not, as far as being the white male, that's what also gives me my presence and my influence, too. So just being cognizant, and I always try to listen and always be a student of something. Like, I'm always starting and trying something new, but you have to be a student of life first. Like, I like to try to listen twice and speak once, because I can often learn more from other people, and it's hard to do as a lawyer because a lot of times people come to me for advice. But being a risk taker, because I'm always trying to go in uncharted things, I think wisdom comes from learning from other people's mistakes and things as well. So I have good mentors. I always say you should have a business buddy in music and in business, because I feel like it's a separate skill set to be an artist and be a creative, and it's a whole different skill set to be a business person. So, my relationships with my mentors and my network, I think, has allowed me to be successful as a woman, which, it's very hard to find like female mentors as well. But that's why I appreciate people like Tupac and Nipsey Hussle. They were also very, not only, supporting women, but also just conscious of society. And a lot of these social justice things that Tupac was, spoke out about, even Nipsey Hussle, a lot of these things were started by women. So we often get left in the, in the background and supporting the guys that do this, but our role is just as important. So I appreciate just this time and space and universe to be able to speak out and utilize our platform, because there were times where someone like me couldn't get a job or work for themselves. So we've come a long way, but not that far. Like, one of my colleagues, he just sent me a letter from 1959 where a guy did not get admitted to college because of the color of his skin. I was like, that's my parents' lifetime. So, the space we are in as creatives, like, I'm very much an advocate on owning your intellectual property, your copyrights, your trademarks, because we get left out of that monetary generation and creating stuff when we don't own those things. So, that's why I'm an advocate. Just as a woman, like, men want to go here and make the money. I'm like, no, put on your shirt first, prepare yourself, protect your business, protect your assets, and then go out there and make the money. Because when you don't do that and you don't have those things set up, that's how artists and people are often taken advantage of.
And I remember, a lot of times I got to, come over to the house and when your parents was doing stuff, and they were always like, that's what I appreciated so much about, because I remember, I think it was like '04 or something like that. One of my older cousins, he knew I was into music, and he took me to the Royal. You know what I mean? He was like, man, they got the studio in there. I know you do music and stuff. Maybe you can go out there and get you a job or something. Right. So he brought me up there, and I met Murph and Carl Lavender. And I was just like, that place, I was just so happy to be there, because in St. Petersburg, we don't have a lot of things that keep us motivated, especially as young black males, which can be very, very bad for everybody. We just out there acting crazy and stuff like that. We don't know how to treat our sisters right. We don't know how to be there for our kids. It's just a whole domino effect. But because of Murph and Carl and everybody, I was able to meet you guys and everybody else. So I want to kind of have you speak momentarily about that real quick, how great your parents was, and being able to have that foundation, and then also being able to help with the Royal and give back to the Royal, like you said, with getting the studio equipment and all of that stuff.
Right. So I feel like I got my passion about music really probably from my parents and my business know-how, because they're entrepreneurs. And then also, the giving back and the service to our community. I'm for sure I got that from my dad, because he probably spent more time volunteering in the community just as much as he did working at, as a business. But, it's important that we support our community and the youth and the kids, because you guys are our next generation. Like those, you all and those kids at the Royal, like I was, keep up with Kamoy and Terrell, and I just saw Jip put out a song, and I was like, damn, you really making music. And I'm like, take ownership, because I'm like, these are my kids I talk music and business to, and to the point y'all learn a little too much, because I've had to hire Kamoy for some video stuff to get his invoices. I'm like, there y'all, but quality cost. So these programs and supporting our community and finding the things that keep you all's attention, like music is one of them, but it was really like the music, the production, the Pro Tools, and even like in this digital money space, I'm like, we need to be teaching kids cryptocurrency. That's why they're bored in school. They're not learning things that are really transferable that they're interested in. So it's important that we find that talent and support them, to let them know it's okay to want to write or just have something creative, because what they teach you in brick and mortar school doesn't support that. So, outside of, creating something that's a good resource for teen boys, that's why I know that program is successful, because I can look at that first class and say, like, dang, I saved these kids' life, where they could have went the block the other way and been selling drugs and shooting, and you know how life is. So it's important that we support these programs, which is why I always try to give back or give money and do the same. And what I really saw the legacy created from it was, when I left, my kids that I taught, they were able to go get a job and run that program. So, I probably need to do a better part making sure that programs continue, to be funded and whatever resources it needs. But, it takes a village for us to do things like that for real, because even Terrell, I remember, he lost both of his parents at the age of 15, and he moved.
Well, after it was his mother,
his mom, and just to see him lose his mom and, have brothers, and, his brother, I think, he's playing football, and he moved to New York at the age of 16, 17, and opened his own studio. And I was like, that one little trip to New York, if that motivates you to do all that. So you never know what inspires, a kid or a person, to take that risk and really just be, think outside of the box.
Right.
So you're influential and, setting out the roadmap, like, work hard, do this, be a good person, but also take the time back out in your community, which is why I spend so much time doing community service, because I don't have to advertise, because I'm out meeting people and trying to do the right things. So.
Yeah, and we appreciate people like you for doing that, because, I'm seeing a lot of things moving and shaking here in St. Pete now, and I definitely want to be in the know. You know what I mean? But it's crazy, because I feel like our community is kind of still, I don't want to say shut out, but it's like we're still not understanding the changes that's being made until it's too late. You know what I mean? Because I remember, Murph and Alex Harris, they had put a program together, the Teens Conservatory for Arts Conservatory for Teens. Mm-hmm. And it was teaching all that stuff that you're saying, teaching trades, skills, also trying to get kids into stem cells, all types of stuff. And
right. I remember, the computer lab and all that stuff,
Yeah, and these brothers came by, and we was at, when they was doing the summer program at Gibbs, I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So these brothers came by with this company, and they were doing real estate. And they were showing us pictures in St. Pete, saying, all right, what block is this? You know what I'm saying? These new apartments, these new condos, and all of that stuff. So a lot of kids was like, downtown. They were like, no, that's going to be 22nd Street where where the Royal is. That's going to be 9th Street where Bethel Heights is, and all of that stuff. And he said, like, next 5-10 years.
Yeah, that 5.
In my mind, So in my mind, I'm like, oh, snap. This is the chess moves that's going to come, and that's going to really shut out a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us are still playing around. Right. So, I think it's great that you do what you do, and Murph and everybody, does what they do. So I want to talk about art as an attorney. If I'm not mistaken, you was representing Rod Wave, right?
Not necessarily. It's complicated. His management attempted to hire me for their record deal, and it didn't work out. Necessarily. So, I support Rod and his career. And then I think when he tried to hire me, I had to explain to him, I was like, I technically have a conflict of interest because you're management, but, that was just for that one deal. So, but, I put him on to, whatever comes across my plate that that community or people, want. So I didn't necessarily do his deal, but I was involved at the beginning of it. But, that's one of those things why, picking who your client is can affect what you're able to do in the future. And that's one of the things, why I, want to answer no, I didn't represent him, because I feel like he's not happy with his deal. And had I been his lawyer, he might not have signed that, because that's why I was not for signing it, because I knew there was more to be had, because I was essentially representing another artist that was signing a deal that I thought was better than what he was getting offered. So I didn't do his deal, but I was in talks with his management, to do it. So, who knows what happens, years to come. So
Okay, well,
for me to renegotiate and fix whatever the issue is, because I had 2020 vision then.
well, let me ask you, since you say that, because that's another important thing. So, in all your years of experience, when would you say is the best time for an artist to start talking to an entertainment lawyer, or to hire one for their services?
I mean, I feel like in the beginning, especially in areas that you aren't knowledgeable about, and two things change by the day. So it's always good to get a neutral ear and think about and have someone to bounce ideas off. So I really would say in the beginning, because I'm an advocate for setting stuff up right in the beginning and protecting and having a holding company. Because look, half these artists out here, did y'all have a holding company while COVID was going on? If you would have, you could have been getting some of the PPE money, or whatever. So there's outside of business reasons to have one. An attorney can just help you in so many different capacities, as far as setting up, protecting things, because it's almost, I get clients all the time like, oh, can you help fix this? Or I need to recover this. And then by week 2 or 3, I'm like, you didn't even tell me you signed a record deal, or you signed a publishing deal. Like, I can't go undo something you did. You should have hired me before you signed it. So it's oftentimes I can't undo things. So I'm always an advocate. It's better to have an attorney and not need one than not have one at all and need one, because it's really relationship based too, especially in entertainment as well.
So you're saying basically, like, before they sign up any paperwork, they should have a lawyer?
I would. I mean, especially for the reasons, our tax laws change, business formalities change all the time. And, I feel like people go with what they hear is the trend. Like, oh, let me set up a company in Delaware because it gets me better tax savings, when you're not even making $10 million for it to even qualify. And you're actually paying double taxes for selling it in Delaware instead of just paying your annual report in Florida. So if you're not studying and doing this on a day-to-day, you won't know that, and you'll just go with whatever you heard on or saw somebody else do. So I think getting with someone in the beginning, because you really want to build a relationship with an attorney and have them be a part of your team, like your manager, your CPA, your marketing person, and let them grow as your business grows. That's why I tell clients, like, I'm good at what I know how to do, but things I don't know how to do, I want to help you find the next best lawyer that, can do that. And then I become the lawyer for the lawyer. So, but, again, it's the relationship I'm most, in tune about, or I feel like is an important part, because you want to make sure as a client you're trusting what they're giving you. Like, I'm in business as a service, but I also don't try to sell people on stuff they don't need.
Gotcha. And like right now there's a pandemic going on. So how has it been for you to, like, maneuver through that and working with your clients? Like, is it more trying to stay in office? Do you take, kind of chances, make sure you got your mask on and go, that type of stuff?
I was actually digital and virtual before this thing came about. So I feel like I was uniquely prepared and already operating in this space. So, because I already tried to limit doing in-person consultations, because I was like, I'm going to charge you more if I got to sit in front of you, get dressed, go here, versus do something online. So it honestly made me more busy, to be honest, because I've also, outside of entertainment, I do other areas like employment discrimination. So a lot of people are losing jobs, but it also created a lot of opportunities, because I was really pushing creatives and artists. I said, look, everybody's leaning on the artists. We're depressed, we're on lockdown. And I said, a lot of these new industries, television, film, radio, Broadway, I said, create the new normal. And I actually had a client he worked backstage and was out of work off Broadway, but he put together all the behind the scenes workers. They made a choir. They ended up on Broadway during COVID, and we all got Broadway credits. So, this is a very unique time to be creative and think outside of the box, and now, I've had clients that they were coming up with virtual film festivals. So yeah, instead of spending $1,000 and going across the world to go to each film festival, now you can submit online to hundreds, so I feel like it's a unique opportunity for artists, but we have to learn how to navigate this space. But why I always also think protecting your music, setting up your monetizations and your accounts are so important, because once you put it out and it goes on the internet, it's lost forever. But if you don't have those buckets to collect that money before it even goes out, you've already missed money, and then you're stuck in trying to go retrieve assets and back collect royalties. So I always say set it up at the beginning so the plane can take off and you can catch the money instead of going back to go fish and get it.
That's true. I know some artists that I'm dealing with that's trying to go to the next step and stuff like that. So, and you made a mention, not to go into it too much, but you were saying about right ways, management and stuff like that. When you're trying to decide if you're going to deal with a client or not, how important is it that they have a manager or management team that's not getting in the way of their progression and understanding business? Like certain things they do, and there's certain things that the lawyer do that they're not supposed to do. I mean, whatever conflict it may be. Like how difficult is it to deal with an artist if they got a bad management team?
Right. So I always try to make that clear at the beginning, because that comes up a lot. Managers reach out trying to hire me to be part of their team, and I'm like, well, who's my client? Are you management hiring me, the record label, or is the artist? Because that's a different hat that I would wear. So and to the manager and artist relationship, it's so complex, because I've been a manager of talent, and depending where that talent is and you're the manager, if they don't have a career in making money, that manager has to put in so much time, so much development, sometimes even front the money. I don't think artists really realize, like, I'm not managing you. I'm being your unpaid A&R and consultant. You really need to be paying me and putting me on salary. And the other dichotomy is artists can sometimes be so unreasonable. You guys are creative, so there's all these mental health things as well. I always take in consideration, and two, to keep you guys focused. So one, I think it's important for artists to have someone that they trust as a manager, so then they'll listen. And managers really need to understand their artists too, to really know what they're good at, what their triggers are, what deals they can do. Like, I've had managers put artists on tour in the middle of a potential, like, when they're strung out on drugs.
Wow.
And I kind of saw that they speak about it publicly. Lil Wayne situation, like his manager, he almost walked away from that. So it's important to have people on your team, that you trust and really know the artist. But it's also important, I feel like artists need to be educated and be involved in what's going on in the business, because I look at situations with Rick Ross. He was buddy with his manager, and they fell out, I'm sure, misappropriating money. But again, if you weren't signing your own checks, knowing where wires, who's getting paid, looking at the contracts, all right, I really got booked for 50 grand and not 40 grand, and to know my manager ain't front to 10 grand, or, who's really booking me, because all the side homies be trying to book stuff, to line their pockets and stuff too. So I think it's important for artists to be educated and to be involved with their business too, and not just trust what a manager's doing.
So as far as that's concerned, like, so do you have like connections you built with management teams and stuff like that, like, that they can always reach out to you and get your advice on something? Because I know it calls for consultation. I'm not saying it's free. I don't want y'all looking at this show and be like, oh, I'm gonna hit her up, it's free. No, it's not free. It's business. She's been doing it too long.
There you go. It depends. I'm very hesitant to refer people unless I've worked with you and it's somebody I have a good working relationship with, because you could just catch me on a bad day when I'm, look at us today, like how many times have we rescheduled this? When I'm busy, and it's not because I'm ignoring you, or it's just that I'm busy. So Um, yeah, I think it's repeat your question one more time. I want to make sure I answer it specifically because I was about to go off on a whole tangent.
It's okay. No, I was asking about, like the communication or, saying reputations you built with management teams and how
Yeah,
they, how
management
you do
is
it.
hard because there are some firms I see QC doing stuff, and then I already see them getting out of music and trying to go into sports. I'm like, how like would I let my athlete manage you through sports? Like, how competent are you? But I think Jay-Z and Rock Nation Management has kind of really set the tone, but they really took a book out of all these LA agencies that do this for their artists. So, there's different skill sets on managing people day to day, managing tours. Financial wealth management is a whole different concept. So again, I introduce people who I can, who I might think would be a good fit. But again, I feel like a manager and artist relationship, that's so close to a marriage. Like you have to be very aware of who you're connecting. And again, if I connect someone with you, I can't promise that they're going to do what it is I know that they're good at. You just got to kind of hope for the best. So I'm hesitant to refer people, but again, when I see people that are good at what they do, by all means, I want to connect them if possible.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. Cause I know some artists, so I might need your help on something similar.
Right.
But also with that being said, as an attorney, when you're helping like the clients, artists and stuff that's doing their deals, like what's some of the things that you may overlook, like the type of contracts you may overlook, like publishing, recording deals, management deals, and stuff like that you might look over for
On a
artists.
day to day, setting up their companies themselves and creating the operating agreement. I think everyone thinks, oh, I'm gonna just start a record label with my homeboys. I'm gonna file on Sunbiz. And I see that with even two people, and they're like, oh, I started a company, and yeah, we own 55-45. I'm like, no, you don't. It's 50-50 because y'all don't have an operating agreement or, whatever the case is. So setting up business formations, the operating agreements, I write a lot of cease and desist. I write a lot of production recording agreements. For record labels, I write a lot of 360 agreements and publishing agreements. I used to do a lot of brand and influencer deals, when TikTok and YouTube was really at its height. So it just depends. Record label deals, I've done movie deals, screenwriter deals I'm in the middle of for authors. So, whatever creative designers, I do a lot of trademarks for designers and artists. So it just really depends, what the client, brings me or what opportunities I might have. So it kind of runs the gamut on those.
Oh, okay. You just said something that I was thinking about talking on. All right, so saying that you can do like branding deals and things of that nature. How has that been to like if you deal with an artist that wants to like make their own brand? Have you ever like done specifically like say if an artist want to do like a clothing deal or something like that where either one they're gonna just like model for a clothing brand or start their own clothing brand? Because I know that's a lot of artists want to try to do is start their own gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've done both. Set up their clothing line for them and trademark it and do that. I'm actually speaking on a fashion law continuing education panel on March 5th. That's free, but either that or brand ambassador deals where they're gifting you clothes or they make you a product code and then we negotiate you getting a percentage of the sale, things like that. A lot of socks and sneaker deals. Socks.
People do sock deals.
Yeah, remember what Stance socks? They're huge. STANCE Stance socks. I feel like Nipsey Hussle did a deal. There's a couple artists did a couple deals with them. I did one for a comedian, but yeah, I feel like it's a lot more placement with women, with fashion and clothing, because you can even see how Instagram has utilized, Fashion Nova, and, they're selling millions and millions of dollars of clothing, utilizing these influencers and platforms. So yeah, we can either take a client that's starting a label, we show you, like I had one manager hired me for their clothing company. I don't even think they made the record label, but we trademarked the name, and I got a call a year later. Somebody wanted to use the name, so I negotiated a licensing deal for this fashion label. And I don't even think they put out the line. They just own the name. So again, protecting, owning the copyrights and trademarks, that's intellectual property is like physical real estate. If you own it, we can license it and sell it.
Okay. All right. So on this part, let's have some fun. Let's do some name dropping. So who are some great clients and companies that you've got to work with and do some deals with?
Oh gosh.
So many.
Yeah, so many. I always take credit for bringing Drake to Florida, which that was through one of my clients. Yeah, Cash Money Records. I started out representing a lot of their, not a lot, but a couple of their executives. And then, executives, they have their side artists and people they manage. And we basically had Drake on tour, and Baby and Birdman didn't know about it. So, yeah. So it's been interesting to see, him grow, because we had him on tour and he wasn't signed to Cash Money or Young Money, and I'm over here like telling everybody, you need to sign this kid, not knowing like they're doing their own
Talking
stuff.
about like right at the threshold.
Right at the threshold. Yeah. So it's been interesting to see him rise up to stardom, and even just record labels. Like I used to work a lot with L.A. Reid, some of the guys he was grooming, like Shakir Stewart. He took over Def Jam after Jay-Z. He unfortunately, got killed after that. But the other gentleman that was getting groomed with Shakir, Ray Romas, he's known for breaking Bruno Mars and a lot of different pop artists. So he was grooming Shakir on the hip hop and urban side, and grooming Ray on the pop and commercial side. So I've seen artists grow, seen executives grow. I work a lot with athletes, so I have a lot of NFL players I've done deals with, Sony TV, Warner Brothers, HBO Sports. I've done a lot of most major record labels and media companies. Probably done deals with. So
that's cool. So how is it dealing with the egos of those like big celebrities, whether athletes and I ask that because a lot of artists that I know that working on their craft and try to become great and all that great stuff, try to make sure to tell them don't be a-holes, don't be extra arrogant, be careful how you talk to people. You're not from the hood no more, you're not able to be spoiled and all of that. But how is it like dealing with the egos, and are you able to kind of check them respectfully? You know what I mean?
I honestly felt like I didn't take a break, but I emotionally took a break from working with entertainers and artists, because I realized I was giving so much to my clients. And now I see I just didn't have good boundaries or have good business structure, where I was letting them call me 2:00 in the morning, or when people got arrested, or it was a lot. And then they just had unrealistic expectations. One, I wasn't charging them what it was worth. So now that I've terminated relationships, like they're like, dang, I had to pay my lawyer 10 grand. I was like, yeah, that's what you were supposed to be paying me. And a little $1,000 I was letting you fly by. Like, so it taught me a lot about, one, just having boundaries and how to deal with artists, because they are so demanding. They are so erratic. They're creative. They're not business. So they don't understand, like, I'm up at 5 a.m. So by the time you call me at 10 p.m., I've already talked on the phone 18 hours a day. I'm tapped. I'm tired. So that's why I had to go back and say, like, look, you want to work with me? This is what it costs. These are my office hours. Get your ass up before 1 p.m. and get on this. Because what was happening was I'd be going to the studio and be around and drinking and smoking, and then it took the business off course and made it more social than business. So, just being cognizant of that, and just your energy, too. And sometimes I realize there's value in a no too. Like, I've probably saved, if clients listen, save them a lot of money had they listened to my no. So really too, just really being confident in my experience and what I know. Like, you're hiring me for a reason, because I have a different skill set than you have on these, and really just trusting it and trusting my gut, and especially my intuitive gut as a woman, I feel like is so important too.
Yeah, and especially with all your experience. Yeah. Now you said, well, it's up to you if you want to talk about it, but you said having to help some people out of a jam? Is there anybody you helped out of a jam that we may know about? And this is all just like, learning lessons so people realize, what I mean, whether they came back from it or not. But is there anybody that we know publicly that you had to, help out of a jam that wasn't thinking and did something stupid?
Yeah. Oh, I try not to breach my client confidentialities, but I feel like criminal defense, all their stuff is public already. But I'll never forget Whoop. He caught a case leaving somewhere in Atlanta, and it was like somewhere upstate, not upstate, like in the panhandle of Florida. And I was like, basically, this is Southern Georgia. It was like the oldest courthouse in Florida. And I was like, you're going to go to prison. But it was really, he caught a VOP, and then we came back here, and I made that case go away. But when we came here to court in Orlando, I'll never forget, the judge told me, if you get arrested one more time, you're going to prison. And I knew me getting him out so many times before I had to tell his record label, I was like, if he doesn't stop this foolishness, because you're already on probation for something serious, you're going to go up the road. And I made a decision then. I was like, I'm not going to be your attorney that you're going to go to prison on. One, I've already helped you get so many chances. Two, you're not listening. And he was just really being young. And he ended up hiring my colleague and my mentor, actually my teacher that taught me criminal defense in law school. And you can't save artists and people from themselves. So there's been a lot of times, even professionally with lawyers, I had to Baker Act some of my own colleagues and represent them, in court and stuff. So, it happens to anybody from an artist to a lawyer to doctors, get DUIs and all this stuff. But again, I think it's them being with someone that they knows they trust and is going to have their back. Yeah, that's one I can think of, but I've probably done a bunch of other crazy stuff with artists. I always get the call while they're doing it, and then I'm like, you're gonna be a witness to your case. Like, I remember Project Youngin from our city, like he made it look like he got killed on film, and I was getting calls from him and his manager, and I'm like, he's shooting a music video, but I had to play like I didn't know what was going on.
I'm glad you said that, because so many people was like, did it really happen? Did it really happen? And I'm talking to people, I don't know, man. Maybe just the video or something like that. So I'm glad you cleared that up.
Right. But he really was getting pulled over and doing the most. So that's why I was like, are you sure? Right, this is a fake one. So stuff happens all the time. And then two, just people's entourage. I had to represent some football players that wake up seeing my clients on TMZ because they alleged they beat up some gay guy. And it wasn't them, but it was people in their entourage, so just people being in the wrong place, wrong time, or being in the wrong crowd. So
yeah, it sounds like a lot of artists may want to get a lawyer that has your different background. As soon as they start, like,
right.
So start going to the studio, recording, talking about putting out music, and I think this is another thing is like, I think a lot of artists, because I did, like, on the show, I'm talking about different situations that happen, because nowadays you see a lot of artists killing each other, and it's crazy. Like the one brother, Saha the Prince from that used to be signed with Kanye West. Somebody just tried to kill him a few days ago. Like, he didn't know what was going on, and it's so crazy because it's like, we're a lot of us are in positions to really change our lives and the people around us. So it's so sad that a lot of us still, bring the excess baggage into the field.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can understand where you're coming from, because it's just me dealing with artists that I've dealt with. I've seen a lot of that.
Right. Like, I've had a lot of my own clients, and I'm here in Orlando, get killed, and some of them were in street stuff and some of them weren't. So, violence is very big, in the industry and just in our communities. So we have a lot to do and clean up.
Wow. So before we get out of here, so where's your office at now, and also the name of the law office and how people can contact you?
All right. So I'm attorney Shannon Ligon. I go by That's My Lawyer across social media. You can find our law firm online at www.prettysmartlaw.com. And I always tell people store my phone number. It's really easy, 888-779-SHAN. When in a jam, call Shan. So you can find us on social media. My personal pages, That's My Lawyer, business pages, Pretty Smart Law, and then whatever my related companies are. But yeah, reach out. Hit us whenever you guys need something. We have a good team around to handle whatever your needs are. And if it's something that I don't handle, I try to refer people, to the best attorneys I can. Because I don't do family law, but I know some great family law attorneys. So, yes, be glad to help.
All right. All right, guys, that is Shannon Ligon, and y'all guys can reach her at every place that she just said on social media, and I'll make sure to put it in the description. So this has been another episode of Check Me Out. Check me out. All right, y'all. So that's Shannon Ligon. You know what I mean? Definitely hit her up. Also, I'm going to be having another interview with one of her partners, Jay Yoko, you know what I'm saying, music consultant. So y'all definitely can go ahead and get some knowledge from how she does her thing as well. So y'all definitely got to stay tuned for next week's show. So my man, we about to go ahead, wrap it up, you know what I mean? Dope show as always, you know what I'm saying? We cover Lil Baby, you know what I'm saying? GHETTO and the Bulldogs, Hard to Earn, you know what I'm saying, by GANGSTARR, you know what I'm saying? Had a very intelligent sister, Shannon Ligon, on, talk about, you know what I'm saying, knowledge in the business and stuff like that, the importance of a lawyer and all of that good stuff, you know what I mean? Any comments on the show, you know what I'm saying? Anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
No, it just you are doing your business, like get you a good lawyer. She's very not knowledgeable in everything that she's been saying and everything that she do from from what you've all saw on the video. And even with that, there's certain things that you can do to protect yourself. But at the same time, even if you heard what you may have heard through the grapevine, get with a lawyer, and that way, shoot, if you need to, you get on, be like Biggie, have lawyers watching lawyers, so you won't go broke. You know what I'm saying? But but
that's when you get money, then you can do that.
You said what?
I said that's when you get money, then you can have lawyers watching lawyers, boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But this is it's good to have your business correct in the beginning because industry, we all know industry rule number 4080. So if it's not straight in the beginning, it's gonna be hell trying to get it rectified in the end. And what they're gonna do is try to wear you thin to see when you give up. But once they realize you ain't gonna give up, eventually it'll work out. But why even go through that stress in the first place? Get you
That's real talk, man. Real talk. So regular business is shady, man. You know what I'm saying? Business in general, you gotta be careful about if you're going into something, you know what I'm saying? Even just, getting a job, you gotta pay attention to what it says, you know what I'm saying? Because here in Florida, we you know what I'm saying, you can get fired with no real reason here in Florida after you know what I'm saying, your 90 days you don't work out or in between your 30 days. You know what I mean? So y'all gotta be careful.
Oklahoma's like that too. This at state. You can walk in and say, hey, I don't like your shoes. I don't like your haircut. They don't have to give you a reason. They just be like
deuces. For real. So y'all keep paying attention, man. We always trying to drop knowledge to y'all, you know what I'm saying? Playing music and stuff, of course. But you know what I mean? We want to just let y'all know ways y'all can do stuff without it having to be just you have to do a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. But before we do that, I want you to go ahead, Batman, let them know your handles, man, where they can reach you at.
It's Batman _ the DJ at Instagram. Also at Cole One TV on Facebook and on YouTube. Also, it's Batman _ the DJ on Twitter. but I'm mostly on Instagram now. So yeah,
All right.
Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
And y'all can go ahead and check me out. I'm over there on YouTube with my boy, also HD on Out from the North 18 on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can check us out. We wilding out over there. You know what I'm saying? Unfiltered. Also, you can go to Facebook, holla at me, JTL Going Dolo. You know what I'm saying? And also, if you want to go ahead and send us something for the show, you want to talk about anything, you know, you want to get some info about anybody, go ahead and send us an email at checkmeoutmusic@gmail.com. All one word, checkmeoutmusic@gmail.com. So this has been y'all show. Know y'all enjoyed it. So we definitely going to make sure we keep bringing the heat every week. And also, we're going to be putting up more content where it's just me and my boy Batman. We just going to be throwing up topics, you know what I'm saying? Just going in, just having conversations, you know what I'm saying? So that way y'all can just see the interaction, you know what I'm saying? So every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, y'all come here, y'all check out the show. We're talking about music, artists, and doing dope interviews. And during the week, we're gonna post up stuff with just us interacting. Y'all can just, you know what I'm saying? Check it out. Make sure you subscribe. If this is your first time checking us out, hit that notification bell so you'll get all the, you know what I'm saying, notifications that you need and all that great stuff. So this has been another episode of Check Me Out. Your boy JTL, my boy Batman the DJ.
Oh,
So check us out. Well, I'll at y'all.
yeah. Peace.
What's happening? It's Real Liv, and this is Check Me Out.
Yeah, this is your boy Ski 3, and I'm on Check Me Out.
Check me out. Yo. This is the portal. Check me out. Check me out.
Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out.